Welcome to another exciting episode of ZoeTV. Kay?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm excited.
Of course you're excited because it's an exciting show. We've got exciting people and exciting topics, so it's going to be...
It's going to be fabulous.
Exciting. Today's show is going to be special. We have a resident of inspiration.
Oh, I can't wait.
Sandy Shellac.
And she is a character.
Sandy is full of energy, full of life, bubbly, and you're just going to come across on the interview because we got to talk to her before and after, and I can see why Diane Morrison
picked her
because she brings a lot to the table.
Oh my gosh, every time I see them, she is happy and
if I lived in Glencroft, I would just I'll be on a waiting list to get in that area.
I agree.
Because I think that they're doing it right.
That's good energy.
They are doing it right.
And they take care of each other.
They really
I can't
do.
wait to meet her.
Okay, we also got the luxury of interviewing Mr. Don May. For those of you out there that know, he's our Chief Financial Officer. He is behind the scenes doing all the hard work, bean counting, all that Glencroft and our giant ship that we run.
Yes.
And he has good perspective because he's had a lot of different facilities he's got to look at and seeing Glencroft through, transition from other leaders, and it'll be an interesting interview.
Well, he's counted beans at a lot of places, so can you imagine his collection?
It's like what we always talk about when we had Eric on from HR, and to get context to why'd you pick Glencroft to work?
Right.
If John called you and picked up the phone, why would you leave what you were doing to come here? I always think that it's fun to hear that perspective.
Right. I know. I am anxious for people to get to know him because very few people do because he's in his office doing what CFOs do.
That's right. So it should be a great show. Stay tuned. We are so excited today on the Resident of Inspiration segment to be joined by Sandy Shellac. Did I say it right?
You did great.
Shellac.
All that practice.
I just like saying it.
I know.
Shellac. Just say it.
I was going to say shellac.
That's close too.
Shellac.
Shellac. I like the name.
I answer to other things too.
Okay, well.
But we are so happy you are with us.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here.
Diane Morrison. It's her fault.
Yes,
don't blame us, blame her.
Yes,
she brought you into this moment right now.
Yeah, I didn't pay her enough.
So what was your thought when you heard through the grapevine or however you caught wind that you were the nominee, Diane did this to you or for you?
Well, I can think of so many others who do so much more, but I think it's quite an honor. And of course, I love Diane dearly and all the people in our court in this whole place, really. Yeah. So it's my pleasure to do things to help when I can.
Well, awesome. That's a great can-do attitude. And that was, Diane, we were able to talk off camera, on camera, so much about you and just her journey and the little tribe within a tribe of Glencroft and all that you guys do for each other. And I think you have probably equal testimony to how good you guys have it over there with everybody's eyes on each other.
Yes. And she is fantastic with that. I mean, I'm so glad that they recognized her because she is a nonstop bunny.
She
running around and doing all these things. Yeah.
That's very true. So tell us a little bit of background about you. When did you come to Glencroft? Where are you from?
Well, originally I grew up in Rhode Island.
Oh.
Yes. But we moved west about 30 years ago when George retired.
Okay.
And we came down here. We've lived in several places in Arizona. Loved all of them.
Yes.
Like
where?
We've moved a lot. Well, we started out in Carefree, and then we moved into Peoria, and we built houses along the way and lived in them for a while, and then moved.
Okay.
So it's been a wonderful experience ever since we got here. We knew we were meant to be here because we left our home in Virginia. And it was God's calling, for certain. George took early retirement. We didn't even have a sign on our house back home, and a woman riding by on a horse
Oh my
said
gosh.
she loved it and would like to buy it, and we signed the papers that very day. So
Wow.
Wow.
I knew
That
this
is
was
God's hand
I
and
would
timing there.
say,
That's crazy.
yeah,
God
that's
was
a
at
pretty
work.
amazing sign.
Definitely, God was at work. Yes. So anyhow, so it was George couldn't join us until he actually retired in July. We came out in December. I was thinking the school year at that point, but it's different back east than it is here.
Sure.
But that's what brought us out here at that particular time, and we just adjusted without him.
Oh, wow.
That's so funny. So do you have a lot of family now out here?
We
Do you
have-
go back east still?
We
or?
have, yes, we have family in both places, and
Okay.
of course, a bunch of friends. I left my whole support group back in Virginia.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
yeah.
hard.
So this made it a rough adjustment. I'm teasing when I say we missed George very much,
Yeah, sure.
being with us for the first 6 months.
Of course
But he
you
came
did.
out to visit us and set us straight.
So you traveled along the Arizona path, carefree, all the way to Peoria, and then you came here. So what year did you come?
From there we went to, we tried to get a little closer to my son in California, so we went over to Buckeye.
Oh, okay.
Whatever the name
that's a
is
little
of that
closer.
place over there. Yeah, one of those places.
Yes.
And then we moved up to Estrella Mountain.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's where, that was the last place we lived.
Gotcha.
We got a diagnosis from George's doctor that we needed to make a change in our plans for our future. And so we immediately started to research where we would like to go.
Mm-hmm.
And my big thing was I needed a faith-based
Yep, absolutely.
community.
we hear that
All the time.
often. Yes.
I had been praying about that ever since I left Virginia.
Wow.
Because I had a great support group, a Christian group back there. And, it just, I didn't find it here when we first moved out.
Right.
So I was praying for it for a long time, and that's what I like to tell the people in my court. They all think that they came here because they were supposed to be here, but they came here for me. They just don't know it.
I love that.
That's a great
And
line.
no horse this
And no
time,
horse.
right?
You got that? No, that
horse
wasn't
went riding
allowed.
by. You had to just trust that God was speaking in other ways.
Yes. So that was what really brought us
That's
to
a
this
great
facility.
backstory.
And we love it.
And
We
how
love
long
it.
ago was that?
2.5 years.
Okay.
Almost, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it would be, we got here in August 2 years ago, so.
Okay, and it was God's gift that you got put in court 8. I'm sure you say that daily because
No, I definitely.
we know your friends and we know
Definitely.
you are surrounded by
Definitely.
a good group.
It was an answer to prayer, definitely.
Well, I think it's about that time. The moment of
Oh.
truth. The next resident of inspiration nominated by you is going to be
Sheila Delzer.
Sheila Delzer.
okay. That's going to be a fun name to say too. Delzer.
Delzer. I'm going to practice all week.
Okay.
Sheila is fantastic. Sheila and I met. We both came about the same time, maybe about a week apart.
Oh, wow.
And she came into the restaurant, into Henry's
Uh-huh.
one day, and she looked at me and she says, "Hi, we're the newbies." She had her husband Gordon with her at that time. And I said, "That's the kind of person I want to be with."
Yeah, I can
So-
see that in you. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So she and I have hooked together through many things over the past 2 years. She is the one who, I believe, she may have been the first one to start making masks for the people here at Glencroft.
Oh, that's how that name seems familiar.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And she definitely bakes for everybody. She's a marvelous
That's good to
cook.
know.
Maybe
Oh,
she'll
yeah.
bring something to
Oh,
the show.
she-
Just
Yeah.
saying. I don't know.
She's good. So and we share. I think that was the other thing that both she and I like to share. If we go out together, watch out because she talks to everybody.
Oh.
She had me in a spot not too long ago, last year I guess it was really, where we were shopping at, I believe we were at the Walmart market up the line, and she saw this older man sitting there with this whole cart of things that needed, to be taken with him, and she asked him if he was from Glencroft. And he said yes, he was, and he was waiting for his ride, but it was going to be a couple of hours. She says, "Oh, we'll take you wherever you need to go." Now, mind you, We had walkers in the back of the car. We had already been shopping someplace else. And so we had a whole bunch of stuff back there. And then we both had shopping carts that were full ourselves.
Right.
And then there was this gentleman who had his walker and his cart. So we had to unload the whole back of the car. But you know, the nice part about that was 2 young boys came up from the parking lot. They didn't work there. They came up and they said, "You look like you need help. Can we help you?" I said, "Oh."
There you go.
And so they helped us restack the whole car.
That's a great story.
I love that
And we gave
story.
this man a ride home, and he was so grateful. I don't remember his name. She might, though.
Okay.
But he lived over in the towers.
Okay.
So we let him off there, and he was able to get his things home.
She sounds equally amazing as you
And
and a bubbly
deserving.
personality, and will be fun to talk to.
We have fun. We
Now,
do have
where
fun.
does she live on campus?
Now,
Just
she
generally.
lives in the villas. Oh,
Okay.
I think it's either she's on the first floor on the very end on the, that would be the north side, on the first floor. I think it's 103 or 123 or,
Okay. Well,
I
we'll
don't
track her
know.
down.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
track her
find
I
her.
remember
We'll
where
find
I
her.
live.
We know
Yeah.
how to find her.
Yes.
Well, good. Now, how do you think she's going to take this nomination? Will be excited, or she slap your hand? Why would you do that
Oh,
to me?
she'll be excited. She'll be excited.
Yes, she hasn't met a stranger,
She,
so
hasn't met a
she'll
stranger.
she
love
needs
it.
to be recognized.
That's
I
great.
love
You know,
that.
she is very, very much a part of Glencroft. She volunteers for several things here.
Mm-hmm.
She's on Tell Tilly. And, you know, she's just an all-around volunteer. Wherever she is needed, she's there.
Oh, I love that.
We bowl together at Wii Bowling.
Okay.
At least we call it that. I'm not sure what we're all doing sometimes, but we're having fun.
That's
all that matters.
important.
That's all that matters.
So
Well,
people
good.
know her from that.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
Oh, you are a
Diane
delight.
teed you up to be an amazing guest, and you knocked it out of the park. You did a great nomination.
definitely
and,
did.
You're definitely an asset to this campus.
Well, I try to be, but sometimes I think I'm here basically to keep people in prayer. I notice whoever rides with me, when I take them places, they're always in prayer in the front seat. I'm thinking, you know, there's more than one way to do this.
Oh,
so-
that's perfect. I
Oh,
love
that's
that.
great. Well, thank you again.
Oh, you're
you.
welcome.
Appreciate it.
Well, we are very excited about this.
We are excited.
We have our CFO, Dawn May, on the show with us today. And Dawn, thank you for coming
Yes.
in. We really wanted to introduce you to all the residents who haven't met you yet. So tell us a little bit about Dawn May.
Oh, well said.
Tell us, like,
Tell us everything there is to know.
start at the
Where are
very
you from?
beginning.
You know, he sent his whole little bio, and he's into everything.
I know
I try
he
to
is.
nitpick him.
Yeah, there just about isn't anything that I haven't done or been a part of, involved with.
Well, where are you from originally?
Born in Key West, Florida.
Okay.
Dad was a sub commander and down in Key West, and then made it over to San Diego, and then grew up partially in San Diego. Then moved to Phoenix, over there on the side of Squaw Peak. Lived there for probably all the way through Arizona State. And I actually have a first undergraduate in real estate,
Okay.
and then went back to school after about 3 years of selling land in North Scottsdale, and then went back for the accounting degree, and then went and sat and got my CPA, of which I've been for 34 years of that. I've spent the better part of my career with the community very close by here as their CFO, and,
Okay,
and
okay.
pretty much very heavily involved in operational type things. And was working for the last 5 years on gigs all over the country where they'd pull somebody in for whether they need a bond covenant type things
Sure.
that needed to be filed quarterly, or just getting a compilation of a financial report out the door, getting through an audit, and filled in there, and have been doing those gigs for a while. And then John Winslow called on the phone.
We know that guy. Do we know that
That
guy?
name
guys-
seems
Yeah,
so
we recognize that name.
familiar.
Sounds familiar.
Well, he sure gets around.
Yes.
And we had a dry run a couple of years back with an opening in the CFO position, but he knew of me and had reached out to me. And it didn't happen at that juncture in time, but it certainly has happened this time. And so The place I was at close by, I think I mentioned I was there for 27 years.
Wow.
So
It's a long
I'm
run.
kind of a stickler for building systems and making sure that they work. And honestly, the place here, the staff that we have in the accounting function, they're exceptional.
Yes.
They're all
We would
rock
agree
solid.
with you.
They're,
Yes,
they're
they
just
are.
a solid crew. There's been a little bit of transition. I know Elvira's taken over for a lot of the residents who are getting their bills now. Elvira's pumping them out now, as opposed to Mary Trzowski, who took a place and retired. And then Renee has taken down the billing over in Providence Place, and she's rock solid. Terry has taken down the payroll.
Yep.
She does an exceptional job at that.
She sure does.
And then Dottie has been pretty much my right-hand person. And we lost a GL person to the COVID, as far as they just went out in June 26th and have not been able to return yet, just because of physical ailments. So that's a kind of a rough situation there. But so basically, Dottie and I have been scrambling around with
holding
like,
the fort down and getting
Right.
and it's been really crazy. But the beauty of this place is that it's got a great platform of information systems that we've been able to build our software systems, both Matrix Care and Great Plains, which is Microsoft's top of the line product, and was able to bring in a report writer so that we're able to get really fast financial statements out each month with a lot of integrity within them.
And who's that?
Who's
Who's the one that you brought in? Or are you saying you?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you meant you brought in.
We were
Okay.
compiling financials off
Okay.
of an Excel spreadsheet for a long time.
All right.
And just for, in accounting terminology, it's called relevant, reliable, and timely.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure everybody appreciates all
Yes,
those words
I'm
coming together.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they have it in
I know we do.
accounting.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, well, accountants generally have a genuine sense of skepticism. Mm-hmm. You know, so we just, in fact, I think it's in the audit guide, one of the first paragraph, it says, you know, it reads like in the first paragraph, remember when I was first an auditor and I was reading this, and it says, you know, just a real bold statement, says, first of all, you are to address client comments with professional skepticism.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I'd read between those lines.
Yes.
But as you can see, I'm not quite that methodical on that area, and I'm very fluent though in the foundation aspects, and there's a lot of contributions and a lot of donations. I think there have been hundreds of thousands of dollars that have come in via UK this year. And that's been a really great aspect. As a 501c3 not-for-profit, there is no private inurement in this operation. In other words, there's no stockholders or board members that are garnering any type of a wage from this deal. And
that's important to point
I
out.
agree.
I'm glad you said that. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that everybody knows
No,
that.
and
but-
we hear it all the time. People, they know what a nonprofit is, but they get confused of, wait, so this was a grant? Well, what's
yes.
that? There's a board. What do they get paid? Like,
Right.
It's misconception. People are,
Right.
you know.
well, it is a very big distinction between a for-profit and a nonprofit.
Right.
Is that there is no private inurement. In other words, all the monies that are paid out by the residents to Glencroft come back to the residents in the form of goods and services.
Exactly.
And there's no middleman on that deal. There's no fat cat in Chicago that's kind of working the angles and plucking out money after, time after time. There's no partnership, there's no private inurement. And that's one of the beauties of being a nonprofit.
Yes.
We do make a profit. We try and budget so that we have some form of profit. I usually budget about $500,000 to $1 million a year in a $30 million budget to try and make sure that we have something left over at the end of the year in case we have unexpected expenses and or costs like capital. Sure. We just were working on the towers, the cooling towers. We have a very nice, the dating of this community is very economically and environmentally efficient because We use a chiller system. We're not using HVAC type of for all of our primary living areas, and it's barely even pennies on the dollar compared to what we would be paying out in our electric bill for air conditioning all these units if we had the traditional SEER 13 HVAC systems that are conventionally built now. So in my walks in these communities, it's very inexpensive way to go. And so the operation here is rock solid. We have a net profit, or not a net profit, but we have a net worth. Some of the operations I've been around.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of other models that are doing a different way. Right?
Yes, there's many different types of models, and particularly the ones that want a big upfront entry fee. And the trick there is that a lot of them will promise that they'll do 90% refunds.
Right.
And I could tell you stories about that, but a lot of them, the full Type A in our industry, as we call them, life cares are they're pretty solvent. They're very strong. It's just the ones that are not, that has, whether it's the Maryland State Department of Aging or the Arizona Department of Insurance, kind of asking for the triennial actuarial study that needs to be done to be able to determine whether they have appropriate funded status, whether their cash flow projections are going to meet the needs. And so there's a lot of technical areas that are behind the scenes, and I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to be able to.
Well, we're glad you're here. You bring
really
a lot of
here.
background and info to the table. I know county is very lucky to have you, and we all.
I'm very happy to be here. It's
good.
And special thanks again to the accounting team. We got rock solid people there. They know what they're doing. They've been here for a long time, and so as far as I'm concerned,
Dottie and Karen, they have been there throughout all of this. They are so good to rely on, and I know our residents think the same thing.
And me.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, between Dottie and Karen, particularly Dottie, if she was not there, I would have been. Yeah. There was, we had a little bit of a transition, but I'm very confident that we're back solidly in the saddle for a long haul.
Good.
And it's not like heading across west in the wagon trains. We're on a pretty smooth road like the Autobahn.
Good. That's good to hear.
Well, thank you for joining us. I know the residents like putting a little more context to who is working, and especially behind the scenes doing so much for them on the
especially because you don't get out a lot. You're in that office before we get here and after we leave.
It's
I
been
see
about
your
4
car.
months, and it's usually it's been very, very very intense for a while, but a lot of the build that I was able to do at the front end, because the platform of systems are there for me to build upon, they're there, and I've been able to build a lot of it and then get the staff in place. And so we should be cranking out financials by the 10th of each month without too much trouble.
Good.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again.
You bet.
We appreciate you, and we'll see you guys later. What a show. Okay.
Yes.
We knew it was going to be good. We knew it was going to be exciting. But to get our hands on Sandy and hear from the horse's mouth, pretty good.
Horse's mouth.
Pretty good.
Good tie-in there.
Sandy is full of energy.
She is. She's fabulous.
It's palpable to all that court and her friends and her stories about going to Walmart and hijacking some other Glencroft resident and bringing them back. I mean, that's gold, right?
And selling her house to someone who showed up on a horse. I love that.
That's just the stars align in God's hand on what they're supposed to be. And it was out here in Carefree, and then over in Peoria, and then over really close to California
Buckeye. Yes.
mean, she kind of made her way, but you know what? She ended up where she was supposed to be, and she's changing lives here at Glencroft.
She certainly is.
So we thank, and I can't wait to see who next week. She got another great resident of inspiration to her.
Yes.
So we got a great interview coming next week. But I thought, on the other hand, Don May gave really good, detailed information on what his job is like.
Right.
I think people don't realize how big that ship is to move, and he gets pulled a million different directions by all departments.
Right.
You work hand in hand with him a lot more than I do on the
with
foundation.
the foundation, right?
But I think he gave good context of, man, I've seen a lot of different models. I've been in a lot of different camps, but Glencroft has a lot of systems in place that are working really well.
Well, and I love that he highlighted the people that work with him, because he's not the only one driving that ship, you know, and it does take a team. Department. And none of us could do our jobs without support.
That team was hit hard with COVID.
I know. They were almost. I mean,
it was like, man, that department
right?
just went, that department got hit hard.
Right.
And I think that residents had, maybe not frustration, but had little hiccups going in how they turned in things and how they put their checks in and how the deliverables happened. So to get context from the head guy of, man, COVID's still with us. Like, we have a key member still dealing.
I know.
I mean, it's the reality that we're in.
Right.
So I thought it was a good show. I think that those two gave good perspective once again, why Glencroft is the best in the business. And we look forward to you guys seeing us next time. Take care.